A comfortable life is rarely questioned because comfort doesn't look like a problem. It looks like stability. It looks like safety. It looks like having things under control. You wake up at a reasonable hour. You go to work. You pay your bills. You rest when you're tired. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing feels broken. And that's exactly why comfort is dangerous. Most people assume their life will only fall apart if something goes wrong, if they fail, if they lose everything, if pain forces them to change. But real damage doesn't usually come from chaos. It comes from routines that feel harmless, from days that feel fine, from a life that slowly stops demanding anything from you. Comfort doesn't destroy lives loudly. It does it quietly while convincing you there's no reason to worry. Why comfort feels so right? Comfort feels right because your nervous system prefers it. The brain is designed to minimize threat, not to maximize meaning. Predictability feels safe. Familiar routines reduce uncertainty. Doing what you already know how to do requires less energy. So, when your life becomes comfortable, your mind interprets that as success. You tell yourself, "I've earned this. At least I'm not struggling. Things could be worse." And you're not wrong. That's what makes comfort so convincing. It doesn't lie to you outright. It just tells half the truth. Yes, comfort reduces stress. Yes, it creates stability. Yes, it makes life easier. But it also does something else, something most people don't notice until much later. It slowly removes pressure, and pressure is what forces growth. Stability versus stagnation. Stability is not the enemy. Stagnation is. The problem is that comfort blurs the line between the two. Stability gives you a foundation. Stagnation keeps you there. When life is uncomfortable, you're constantly adjusting. You're learning. You're adapting. You're paying attention. But when life becomes too comfortable, attention fades. You stop asking, "Is this still right for me? Am I actually moving forward? Am I avoiding something difficult?" Instead, you ask, "Why would I risk what I already have?" Comfort reframes risk as danger. Growth starts to feel irresponsible. Change feels unnecessary. And slowly, without making a conscious decision, you choose sameness. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack ambition, but because comfort rewards you for staying exactly where you are. How comfort silences discontent. Here's something most people don't realize. Comfort doesn't eliminate dissatisfaction. It numbs it. You still feel restless sometimes. You still feel that quiet sense that something is missing. But comfort gives you ways to ignore it. Entertainment, distractions, busy schedules, small pleasures that reset your mood just enough. Not enough to change your life, just enough to tolerate it. So discomfort never becomes strong enough to force action. It stays mild, manageable, easy to postpone, and postponement becomes a habit. You tell yourself, "Later, when things slow down, when I have more clarity, when it makes sense." Comfort is patient. It doesn't rush you. It lets you wait forever. Time feels slow when life is difficult. Every day feels heavy. You're aware of each step. But when life is comfortable, time accelerates. Days blend together. Weeks disappear. Months pass without anything marking them. You don't remember most of it because nothing demanded your full attention. That's why people are shocked by how fast years go by. Not because time suddenly speeds up, but because comfort removes the moments that make time noticeable. Struggle leaves memories. Challenge leaves markers. Comfort leaves blank space. And one day, you look back and realize you didn't choose most of your life. You simply stayed where it felt easiest. Comfort encourages one dangerous belief. As long as nothing is wrong, I don't need to change anything. Responsibility asks a harder question. Even if nothing is wrong, is this enough? Comfort focuses on maintenance. Responsibility focuses on direction. Comfort asks, how do I protect what I have? Responsibility asks, what am I becoming by staying here? These questions lead to very different lives. One leads to safety. The other leads to growth. And most people delay responsibility because comfort makes delay feel reasonable, not foolish, not self-destructive, just practical, until time makes the cost visible. When comfort feels deserved. Another reason comfort is dangerous is because it feels earned. You worked hard, you sacrificed, you survived difficult years. So when life finally becomes easier, you relax. And again, that makes sense. The problem isn't rest. The problem is staying in rest indefinitely. Rest is meant to restore you. Comfort tempts you to stop demanding anything from yourself afterward, so you confuse recovery with arrival. You assume this version of life is the reward, not realizing it was meant to be a pause, not a destination. The quiet trade-off. Without ever articulating it, most people make a trade. They trade long-term growth for short-term ease. They trade potential for predictability. They trade discomfort now for regret later. Not consciously, not dramatically, just gradually. And because the trade feels reasonable at the time, it's rarely questioned. Comfort doesn't ask you to ruin your life. It just asks you to stop stretching it. His isn't about rejecting comfort completely. And it's not about living in constant struggle. It's about understanding this. A life without friction slowly loses depth. If nothing in your life requires courage, if nothing challenges your identity, if nothing forces you to take responsibility beyond what's comfortable, then comfort isn't protecting you, it's containing you. Nothing changes until comfort stops being your reference point, not motivation, not inspiration, just that quiet shift in how you evaluate your life. Comfort feels harmless because it doesn't hurt you today. It hurts you slowly by reducing who you could have become. Most people don't ruin their lives. They simply settle into them. And by the time the cost becomes clear, leaving comfort feels far more painful than staying. Understanding comfort doesn't mean rejecting it. It means seeing its limits. Because a comfortable life can keep you safe, but it can't make you disciplined. And discipline is what separates people who stay where they are from people who move forward despite discomfort. In the next video, we'll talk about why discipline separates you from most people and why it has nothing to do with motivation and everything to do with responsibility.